Hey guys, I just wanted to post a video going over the volume questions that you're supposed to be working on so far this week that I posted on Monday. This is our last kind of idea before we wrap up our measurement topic. So then we're going to move on to our last idea before the school year, angle properties. But don't worry about that until Friday. We're going to focus on measurement until then. These are the last ideas, volume, right? So before you worked on perimeter and area and the Pythagorean theorem, volume is the last thing we're going to be doing. So I'm going to post this video going over volume of all the different kinds of shapes you might have to know. And then I'm going to post a quick like 5-6 question assignment that wraps up our measurement unit that we're going to have to practice all the stuff that we've done with area, volume, and Pythagorean theorem. All right. So hopefully this video makes sense. And if you watch it and you have questions, reach out and we can talk about it like always. Okay. Let's get started. So first question, volume of a cylinder. The equation is pi r squared times h. How do I know that? I have my equation sheet, cylinder, volume, pi r squared times h, right? Nothing complicated, just copy and paste the formula. What's r represent? R, like we talked about, means radius. Radius is the distance from the middle of the circle to the outside. Diameter is the distance across the entire middle of the circle. So in this picture, it's showing us our diameter, right? Because it shows us how distance across the entire circle. Diameter is 16. We can have it, so we can simplify it to little equations where diameter equals 2 times the radius, or radius equals the diameter divided by 2, right? Because the radius is half the diameter. So diameter is 16. Our radius is then 8. So put that into our question. Where r is, put 8. Then where h is, height, put 21. Then we just got to do the math. 8 times 8 times 21 times pi equals 4,222.3. It's important that you start with the 8 squared, the 8 times 8. After you do 8 times 8, it doesn't matter if you multiply that answer by pi and then by 21, or by 21 and then by pi. That doesn't matter. What is important, though, is that you do the 8 squared first, right? If you remember BEDMAS, brackets exponents, division, multiplication, exponents comes first. So 8 times 8 first, and then times it by pi, and then by 21, or then by 21 and then by pi. Doesn't matter at that point. Just start with the 8 squared first. All right? As long as you do that, 8 squared times 21 times pi, or times pi times 21, you'll get this same answer. And that is what it is. I put units because we don't know if it's meters or centimeters or whatever. And volume is always cubed, right? Area is squared, volume is cubed. Simple enough. Cool. Moving on to the next shape. Triangular prism. We know the equation for volume of a triangular prism is base times length times height divided by 2, or 1/2 base times length times height. How do I know that? Go to our equation sheet, 1/2 base times length times height, or base times length times height divided by 2. They'll both give you the same answer. Dividing by 2 and timesing by 0.5 means the exact same thing. All right? Doesn't matter which one you want to do. Just got to plug in our numbers now. Base, 8. Length, 12. Height, 8. 8 times 12 times 8. Get that answer, 768. Times that by 1/2, 384. Or divided by 2, same thing. 384 centimeters cubed is the volume of this shape. Simple enough. Just know the equation to use. Put the numbers in. We got a rectangular prism this time. Even a simpler equation. It's just length times width times height. That's all it is. If you ever forget, it's right here. Length times width times height. So put the numbers in. 20 times 8 times 16. 2,560 centimeters cubed. Probably the easiest volume question you can have is like a rectangular prism or a cube, right? You just got times the numbers by themselves. That's it. Simple enough. Move more complicated shapes like a cone. The formula for volume of a cone is pi r squared h divided by 3, or 1/3 pi r squared h, right? Same way that timesing by a half or dividing by 2 is the same thing. Timesing by 1/3 or dividing by 3 is the same thing. So either one of these you want to use to both get you the same answer. So we just got to plug in our numbers. What's our radius? It's 8. What's our height? It's 18. Plug those in. So pi 8 squared times 18 divided by 3. Same as above, we have to do the exponent first. So 8 times 8 first. Then it doesn't matter if you times it by 18 and then by pi, or by pi and then by 18. Doesn't matter, just do the exponent first. So 8 times 8 times pi times 18 equals 3,619. We're then going to divide it by 3 or times it by 1/3. Get you the same answer, it doesn't matter, of 1,206.3 centimeters cubed. Cool. Moving on, sphere next. Volume of a sphere, the equation is 4/3 pi r cubed. 4/3 pi r cubed, right? Sounds complicated, but it's not. Just what's our radius? 2.2, put that in for r. We have to do our exponent first, always, right? So 2.2 cubed, that's 2.2 times 2.2 times 2.2. That's what that means. So do that. 2.2 cubed times pi. That gives us 33.45. We're then going to times that by 4/3, which is 44.6 centimeters cubed. Always do the exponent first. Always, always, always. All right? Or else your answer won't be right. We then our last shape we're going to cover is our square-based pyramid. So our equation for that is base squared times height divided by 3, or 1/3 base squared height, right? Same way, they mean the same thing, divided by 3 or times 1/3. Doesn't matter. Both mean the same thing, they'll get you the same answer. So put our numbers in. Base is 8, 8 squared, height's 12 times 12. Always do the exponent first. 8 times 8 is 64, times 12 is 763, or 768, sorry. Then I'm going to divide that by 3 and get 256 centimeters cubed. So for volume, whatever shape you have, just know the shape you have. Go to the equation sheet that you're always going to have access to. Look for that shape. Look for the equation you have to use, whether it's this one, this one, this one, whatever. Look for your equation and then just plug in the numbers accordingly. All right, you don't have to ever memorize the equations. You just have to know kind of how to use them and how to plug the numbers in, which are pretty straightforward for 95% of the questions. There might be the tricky one here or there, but most of them, it's just going to give you the numbers. You just got to plug them right in. All right. Before I end the video and post our kind of wrap-up assignment for this measurement topic, I wanted to go over a couple of trickier questions that you're going to have to do by yourself on this assignment. So just real quick, what is the area of this deck? So it gives us a little diagram to the left here of a deck with a garden in the middle of it. The dimensions of the deck are 12 by 7, and of the garden 3 by 1. So it's trying to get us to find the area of this right here. So to do that, we have to find the area of this full big rectangle and subtract the area of the garden inside of it. Hopefully that makes sense. So pretty straightforward how we're going to do that. Area is length times width. Length is 12, width is 7. 84 meters squared is the area of this big outer rectangle. Of the garden, length times width again, because they're both the same shapes. They're both rectangles. 3 times 1, that's 3 meters squared. That's the area of this garden right here. So to find the area of this beige color here, we have to subtract the total area and the garden. So total is 84, garden is 3. 84 minus 3 is 81 meters squared. That would be the area of this deck around the garden. All right? Hopefully that makes sense. If not, we can talk about it. Let me know. Okay? And lastly, area of an ice cream cone. That's what it wants us to find. So we have to break this down into two different shapes because we can't find an area of a weird shape like that. So we have to find area of the ice cream and area of the cone. What shape is the ice cream? Well, it's a semicircle or a half circle, right? So area of a semicircle, pi r squared divided by 2. How do I know that? Well, area of a circle is pi r squared. So if I want to find the area of a half circle or a semicircle, I just got to divide my answer by 2. That's why I put divided by 2. And then area of a triangle or the cone is 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2, which I also know from my sheet right here, right? Base times height divided by 2, or 1/2 base times height. You're always going to have access to these equation sheets, all right? So you never have to memorize that. Then just plug in the numbers. R is radius. What's our radius? Well, across the entire ice cream is 22 centimeters. That'd be our diameter, right? Radius is half of that. So what's half of 22? 11. So put 11 in and do the math. 11 times 11 first, because it's the exponent, right? Times that by pi, you get 380. And then divide that by 2, 190 centimeters squared. If you do this math, you don't get exactly 380. It's like 380 point something, but I just rounded it to an even number to make it a little easier for us. 380 divided by 2, 190. That's the area of the ice cream. Now the cone, base is 22, right? That's the base of the triangle all the way across, 22. Height is 15. Plug those numbers in. 22 times 15 equals 330. Times it by half or divide it by 2, same thing. 165 centimeters cubed is the area of the cone. Want to find the area of the total? We've got to add them together. Total always means add, right? 190 plus 165 equals 355 centimeters cubed is the area of the entire ice cream cone with the ice cream on it. So I'm going to post this video, watch it, go over it. This is going to be how you find volume of all the shapes I might ask you. So pyramids, spheres, cones, rectangular prisms, triangular prisms, and cylinders. These are the kind of questions I might ask, and here's an example you're going to have for how to do all of them. And you're also going to always have access to this equation sheet. So just know what equation to use and plug the numbers in accordingly. I'm going to post our wrap-up measurement assignment right after I post this video. Try your best to get it done. And we're going to move on to our last topic of angle properties on Friday and wrap that up next week. All right? Good luck with this. Reach out if you ever have any questions. And yeah, do your best, okay? I'll talk to you guys in a day or two. Reach out if you have any questions.